Oh boy, we made a video about this a few days ago, and I'm not gonna lie, back when we spoke about it, I was like, this is kind of stretching it thin. It is. This is not really the most substantiated conversation point, but it still is something that I thought was worth talking about. And that was last time. This time, it's real. Or at least, no, not real, but it's validated by one of the top NHL insiders and analysts. Today, we are revisiting a talking point we had a few days ago, which described LA Kings forward Adrian Kempe as a prime Vancouver Canucks target. Well, guess what? We are reopening the Kempe to Van discussion because a recent episode of the Sheet podcast with Jeff Marek and Daily Faceoff, you had yourselves Jeff Marek speaking out about that very same topic. So, I'm going to leave a link in the description to two extra sources. First, we've got Daily Faceoff's presentation of the Sheet from 4 days ago. Greg Wyszynski was the guest on this episode, which is awesome, by the way. Marek and Wyszynski back on the same audio show. Obviously, there are some ties to the Marek versus Wyszynski show from years ago, but I'm also going to leave a link in the description to this article published by Dave Benson on Heavy.com, which highlights what Jeff Marek spoke about in regards to the Adrian Kempe situation. This piece dives into the Adrian Kempe discussion. It opens up by bringing up the same conversation points from last time, as Kings GM Ken Holland appeared on Canucks Central for Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver to talk about his team as the season approaches. When asked about the situation with Kempe, Holland talked about the challenges that teams, players, and agents are facing to blaze a path through the new salary cap territory, with the flat cap since 2020 broken up by rapid increases over the next 3 years. Now, Adrian Kempe, as it's been talked about in prior commentaries, is in a spot where his contract is not guaranteed. He signed on till the end of this upcoming season at $5.5 million, and he's a guy who's been a consistent 70-point player the past few years. He is not going to get anywhere close to 5.5. He's going to totally overshoot beyond that on his next contract. This is why Ken Holland went out there on the Vancouver radio to talk about the Kempe situation and whether or not the Kings are going to find a way to keep this guy on their roster. But if you scroll down into this article, there is a conversation about what was talked about on the Sheet with Jeff Marek. Talking about the standoff between Kempe and the Kings during Tuesday's episode of the Sheet, Jeff Marek wondered aloud about the potential of Kempe and Pettersson lining up together, suggesting a side benefit could be the impact on Vancouver's captain, Quinn Hughes. But couldn't you see it? If Kempe hits free agency, wouldn't Vancouver be all over this guy after playing against him and knowing him for as long as Vancouver has? Marek said to guest Greg Wyszynski. And if you want to plunk someone on that wing with Elias Patterson... Patterson? Why in the world say Patterson? Pettersson, man. Come on, Heavy.com. You want to try to prove to Quinn Hughes that, we're doing everything we can here to keep this team competitive? He's a premium goal scorer on the wing, Wyszynski agreed. They don't grow on trees, but he's also 29. So, now we're talking about the same talking point we had a few days ago, except now it's Jeff Marek going out there and fueling the idea that Vancouver could potentially get involved in an Adrian Kempe sweepstakes. This guy would be perfect alongside of Elias Pettersson. He plays with speed, he plays with intensity, he can score a boatload of goals, and he happens to be really, really good friends with EP40. That, I think, would be such an upgrade for Pettersson in terms of the team dynamics, Going from JT Miller, a guy who is the worst sort of fit personality-wise you can have in that locker room, continuously berating Pettersson, and then you go from that to Adrian Kempe. You got Kempe and you got Brock, two guys that Pettersson absolutely gets along with, and as long as PD is feeling good, as long as he has that support and he's not feeling in his head, he's gonna be a fine player. He's gonna be effective again. And I'm not suggesting that, oh, you need to baby an $11.6 million player by giving him the right people around him so he can feel good. 11.6 doesn't care about your feelings. You gotta go out there and produce. Like, I understand that argument is present, but I also think that it's not really worth debating anymore. Like, we understand that this is what it is. This is the status quo. And even though you can debate that it shouldn't be like that, yeah, I'm not saying that it's a good thing that Petey needs to be treated in this way or talked about like this, but that's the reality of it. And it's not worth suggesting that it's not, right? I mean, if Pettersson's not feeling like himself, he plays worse. If he's not confident in himself, he plays worse. It's like almost every athlete out there. He needs to feel mentally at peace or mentally present or feeling like this is what he needs to do, feeling that he can do what he needs to do. That's how Elias Pettersson gets better, and just surrounding him with players that enforce that or that he gets along with better than JT Miller will be a really big contributor to that. Not to mention the fact that Adrian Kempe could genuinely help out the Vancouver Canucks. If Evander Kane doesn't stick around to next season and beyond because his contract's also expiring too, then Adrian Kempe would be a really great replacement. I mean, move DeBrusk down to line 2, have Kempe on the first line with Petey and Brock, and then you're golden, right? Heck, if you even find a way to keep Kane, you can have a left winger core of Kempe, Kane, DeBrusk, and then have yourselves Höglander or whatever. And I get it, you don't want to necessarily toss Höglander to the Wolves by throwing him to the fourth line in a checking role. We all saw how well that worked out when Mrtka was here. But Kempe is a player that you shake the lineup for, and if he does become available in free agency, I totally agree with what Jeff Marek is saying here. That guy could be total Vancouver perfection. So, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Jeff Marek's commentary on the Adrian Kempe situation, going out there and suggesting that Vancouver could be an option? I like the sound of that, but now the fact that it's Marek going out there and talking about it and not just some random folks on social media, it gives us a lot more ammo to dive into and validate the thought in itself. Not that it's actually going to happen, not that anything is ever guaranteed, but just the possibilities of things here. Links to both the YouTube video segment of the sheet as well as the article that we looked at, they're going to be in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy this video, then hey, the dislike button is there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I appreciate that a ton. So feel free to let me know your thoughts as the Adrian Kempe situation in LA continues to unfold. Do you think the Canucks could really get involved, and do you think they should? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.